Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. It's me, Alejandro Mendoza, or the Nerdy Chicano. Either way, how you say, it's all good here. And of course, we're back for another installment of Between the Frames, our weekly series where we look at some box sets and celebrate some physical media. And today we're going to continue on with our set that we've been covering for the past 3 weeks. None other than Krzysztof Kieslowski's Decalogue from the Criterion collection. Of course, this is a 12 movie set. This is for this, so we're steady making our way through. We're almost at that halfway point, but of course, today we're looking at Decalogue 4. I want to thank you all so much for the love on the last couple episodes and the last couple of videos. Thank you all so much for showing some love with that. Of course, it is very, very appreciated. And of course, if you want early access to this video, along with other videos that are coming to the channel, make sure you go to www.patreon.com/LarryChicano. Of course, if you can't support that way, it's okay. I just am very grateful for anybody who even watches the videos. And if you want to go ahead and give $3 or 10 or 12 or whatever you want to give, it's all appreciated, and I thank it either way. Of course, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like on this video, and you don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that way you get notified whenever a new video drops on the channel. Of course, last week we talked about Decalogue 3, which was a story revolving a man and his ex-lover, and it was quite a good film, just not the best in this set so far. And today we're going to be talking about Decalogue 4. Decalogue 4 is looking at the fourth commandment, which in summary is honor thy father and thy mother. And of course, in this one, it's quite different. Kieslowski is deciding to examine the fourth commandment through the relationship of a daughter and a father. The daughter has lost her mother at a very young age, so she's only grown up with her father. But the relationship is very different than those of a daughter and a father. They have a relationship more of a friendly relationship, and throughout the film, it's kind of given the hint that at one point they might have had feelings for each other, or there were some feelings, just that they never explored them because they knew that they were related. And then it gets into this weird kind of incestuous angle, but it's quite interesting the way that Kieslowski kind of examines that. But when the father goes on a trip for business, he forgets a letter. Well, quote unquote forgets a letter that is supposed to be opened on the day that he died, after the day he dies, and the daughter reads it and finds out that, well, she's not actually her father's biological daughter. And from there, we kind of examine this relationship between the daughter and the father, and a sit-down conversation about whether, the parent-daughter relationship was ever, sort of genuine or authentic, and if their relationship as possible couple was more inclined than a father and daughter relationship. But this is the fourth installment in the Decalogue, and I thought it was good. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't think it was great. It's kind of the same way I felt about Decalogue 3. I think that Decalogue 3 and Decalogue 4 have the same pacing problem, where Kieslowski knows what he wants to talk about. He knows what he's trying to get across, but the pace in between the first and third act and that second act, it takes too long to unravel. And by the time we reach the third act and we kind of get our climactic resolution, it feels too late. It feels like something that kind of was already hammered in the beginning, and in the beginning of the second act, that we kind of just meandered towards the end of the film in that second half. I thought the cinematography by Krzysztof Pakulski, I think is how you say his name, but I'm not sure. Pakulski's cinematography was wonderful. I felt that its use of light was really interesting, especially inside the apartment complex, but other than that, there was nothing amazing in the cinematography compared to like Decalogue 3 or 2. Whereas, in here it still feels it feels like it's part of this set and part of this series, but there's nothing amazing when it comes to its cinematography choices. Of course, Priesner's score is still wonderful. There's nothing else that changes within these films with the score. It's still very authentic. It fits the film. It's able to progress our story. But other than that, there's nothing different going on with the score. It's still really good, and I really enjoy that part. The story is interesting, and I think there's a lot that Kieslowski's trying to say with that story, but it gets lost within its very muddled pacing in the second act, and by the time we get to our third act, it's pretty much it's gone. And we understand that at the end that we find out that like the letters burned until the word not, and what is there to interpret is us and how we understood the relationship between these two people. But I think that overall it was good, but it just wasn't amazing. Now, let's talk about this restoration. Of course, it's like the same as I've said it before. I watched this on my Panasonic 4K player on a TCL 4K UHD TV, and of course it is going to give me that bit of upscaling when I watch this film, so I'm not entirely watching it in 1080p. It's a little bit above 1080p, but not entirely native 4K UHD. This film looks good. The restoration is wonderful. I think that it's still following in the steps of before. Its colors are done well, especially where we're out in the snow. I really like the way that the color of the snow registers, and the way that it also the clothing of Anka kind of registers. I found that to be really interesting. When we're inside the elevator, it has to be one of my favorite examples of the restoration in this film, where that bit of absence of light really benefits it, because it's bringing out the grain, but it's also still showing those nice yellow tones within the elevator. And I found that to be a major part of why I like this video restoration. It seems that at this point, all of them are kind of following in the footsteps of having a really, really good video restoration. Of course, this is what you get when you do a 4K digital restoration. You were able to take those 35mm prints, bring out what is really good out of them, and then just, amplify them. I'm really interested to see where Decalogue 5, A Short Film About Killing, go, because I know those have more of a stronger contrast to them, whereas these are very muted and they have a softness to them, whereas these next films are very, very harsh in contrast. So I'm really interested to see where that goes. But overall, I thought they did a wonderful job in being able to bring out what made this film great before, and preserving that, but also adding that new life to it. And that's pretty much what I feel with the audio as well. Audio sounds great. Very crisp, very clean. It's that modern Euro soundtrack. It's not Dolby Atmos, but it's going to sound fantastic, and I really like that. I think that some of my favorite instances were the sound effects of the plane leaving, where you could hear that beautiful kind of Foley, and I really did think that they were able to bring out some of those natural sounds really well. And I think that the audio is fantastic. They don't ignore it. They are able to give you a good audio restoration along with a video restoration. So I feel like at this point I'm kind of repeating myself, but I think they've done a fantastic job at bringing out such great qualities out of both the video and the audio aspects of these films on the Decalogue. Of course, before I get on with this and I finish this up, I do want to bring up something, because I forget that I'm supposed to be doing this, and I'm going to start doing it more often now. But of course, I want to give a shout out to our patron, Patrick Howe. Thank you, Patrick Howe, for being a patron of the YouTube channel and helping me out here. I'm gonna put you in the credits once we get at least 3, so that way I don't have just one singular name on a black screen. But Patrick Howe, thank you so much, Patrick. And I've got something really cool that Patrick bought for me that I'm going to be reviewing soon on the channel. So stay tuned for that. And of course, to stay up to date with me with all the things that I do on social media, make sure you follow me on Letterboxd, Serialized, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter, all at the Nerdy Chicano with a CH, and on TikTok at the Nerdy Chicano with an X. No CH, you put an X in front of the I. So the Nerdy Chicano with an X. And make sure you keep up to date with all the things that I do on the Nerdcore by going to thenerdcore.com and following us on YouTube and Twitch at the Nerdcore, CORPS. And of course, next week we're going to be looking at Decalogue 5, and after that we are going to look at the feature-length film that was expanded upon Decalogue 5, a short film about killing. But in the meantime, it's been a lot of fun. As always, I love talking physical media with you all, and I love talking about these movies with you all. So, without further ado, my wonderful cinephiles and renowned scholars, celebrate the love of cinema today, tomorrow, and every day after. I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye, guys.